We're taking things that are genetically modified organisms and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein, right into the vein, right into the vein, right into the vein.
Axios reports here, Bill Gates predicts climate tech winter.
Oh, another prediction from this guy, huh?
He's just full of predictions. If there ever was a modern prophet that is being sort of peddled out there. It's a pretty short article. Let me run through it real quick. Coming macroeconomic winter will hurt investor activity in emerging climate technology areas, Bill Gates told TechCrunch Sessions in Berkeley on Tuesday. Climate technology areas. Why it matters. The impending storm that Gates predicts will stall the momentum currently running through the industry or halt its progress altogether. Is he talking about a physical storm or is he talking about like a metaphorical
dark
storm?
Winter? Like a cyber pandemic mixed with dark winter?
Yeah, very weird. Context. Gates founded Breakthrough Energy, a climate change-focused organization that includes a fellowship program, startup incubator, and venture arm. It has $2 billion assets under management and invests with a 20-year return target as opposed to a typical VC life cycle of 5 to 10 years. Oh, yeah. Jump on this boat with me, fellas and ladies.
Take a while.
20 years with Bill Gates and you shall see your riches grow.
Yeah.
Driving the news, Gates spoke to a packed auditorium at the University of California, Berkeley on Tuesday about the challenges facing early-stage startups addressing climate change. He sees Breakthrough Energy's role, that's his company, as a catalyst, of course, among more traditional venture investors that are hesitant to back technology that hasn't yet been proven or commercialized. It's starting to sound more like ESG. The changing macroeconomic cycle, which Gates says is changing, quote, as rapidly as any in his lifetime, will scare off investors that Breakthrough is targeting. What they are saying, quote, we will go through a winter period for a number of years, Gates says of the macroeconomic outlook. Quote, we will have, like in 2001, where the valuations were too high and will now go to the other extreme. The question is, can we still catalyze capital in these things that are unproven, Gates says. I don't know, Basil. With the way the economy's looking, with the way all the talk about a great reset, you know, the thing that I don't think people recognize about the Great Reset is that people, you know, they're sort of calling it out and saying like, oh, look at these evil plan or whatever. But the reality of what could happen is way, way, way worse than like, or what we think can happen. You know what I mean? It's kind of like COVID, where it's like, oh yeah, they'll never do a whole shutdown and an
right.
It's you know, it's hard to believe that it'll happen, and then it happened, right? So
totally,
I think this is very much similar in that these prophets of doom of modern secularism or whatever are such as Bill Gates is out there saying, oh, we're going to go through a climate tech winter for several years. It's going to get really ugly. It's going to be like 2001, where the dot-com bubble popped.
Right.
You know, and again, we've been seeing this theme of, hey, pop the bubble, pick our winners. And that's pretty much what's happening. And Bill Gates plans to be at the forefront of that because, you know, he comes from this prior world where he's made all his money. He wants to make sure that his legacy stays intact, I'm sure. Yeah. So we'll see that happening. But also, what are they really planning? Like, what level of bad is this going to get? And I think our next story sort of touches on where things might be headed. Do you got anything to say about this before we move on?
No, except for, I think I mean, this is a very sort of dire warning. I think it's interesting, the reference, like I kind of mentioned, he's referencing, you know, Biden's dark winter from the pandemic,
right,
and Klaus Schwab's cyber pandemic.
Yeah.
But also, like you said, the ESG movement. He's basically saying, you know, ESG investment is going to slow down our journey, our quest to create technologies and fund, you know, things that will save the earth is going to slow down. This is very sad. But there's a little bit of subtext here, which is like, hey, But listen to what I'm saying. Prices are going, valuations are going to be low. You're going to make a ton of money. It's just going to take a little while. But the forecast for this period that we're moving into, which I think very much kind of ties into the interesting concept of the Pope being like, hey, this is not on accident, which he refers to the Ukraine crisis. I think this is Bill Gates kind of doing the same thing. Like, hey, this is not on accident, but it creates a lot of potential to make a lot of money. So come give your money to old Daddy Gates.
That's the other thing is there are no guarantees that Bill Gates will make it out of this. This is sort of a bloodbath war, kind of a macroeconomic. I don't know. Battle's not. It's too soft of a word. It's like a. I don't know.
An apocalypse.
It's an apocalypse. It truly is.
It's a revealing. It's an unveiling with all the scariness that comes along with that. So, just notable that he's making this a part of his visible public message.